every person has a right to basic knowledge of how to optimize their mind, body, and spirit. Here, I bring to you influential individuals and ideas to help you live a more healthy, fulfilling life. I'm Julie Fouché, and I'd like to welcome you to Pursuing Health. Welcome to episode 6 of Pursuing Health. This is a bonus episode where I sit down with the ladies of the 2015 CrossFit Games Demo Team. I had the opportunity to work with this team for the past week while at the CrossFit Games, and I like to say this is the second best way to experience the games. Obviously, the best way is to be out there on the competition floor yourself, but for one reason or another, these athletes weren't out there this year, and instead they were doing some behind the scenes work, testing a lot of the workouts, being able to touch a lot of that new equipment, and helping Dave Castro to reveal some of the last minute announcements. So we had a blast all week together, and it was truly an honor to spend time with all of these ladies as well as the men of the demo team. So here I sat down for a little conversation with the women, who are Jennifer Smith, Talayna Fortunato, and Christy Adkins, and we talked about a variety of topics ranging from health to how they're dealing with being at these games even though they can't be out there on the competition floor, and what their plans are so that they can get back there next year. So without any further ado, here's our bonus episode 4 of Pursuing Health. Welcome to Pursuing Health. I'm here with all of the ladies of the demo team from the 2015 CrossFit Games. And we just got here yesterday, and they've already tested some workouts this morning. But I think we're in for a fun week. But do you guys want to just start out and introduce yourself, your athletic background, and your previous games history?
Sure.
Just so everyone knows who you are.
I'm Christy Adkins, and I started CrossFit in 2008, and I've competed at the CrossFit Games from 2009 until last year, 2014, and this year I am on the demo team.
And we first met at regionals in 2010. Christy was my first CrossFit friend.
Yep. Logan,
Nice.
Ohio.
Yep.
We exchanged numbers, and we're training together like about a month after that.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
The rest is history.
I am Jennifer Smith, and I am from originally CrossFit Maximus. I've trained with CrossFit Maximus a couple times. We've gone to the games with them 2 different times, and I've been to the games once as an individual in 2013.
And on the demo team last year, right?
And on the demo team last year.
So you're an expert by now.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm Talayna Fortunato from Naples, Florida. I started CrossFit in 2009, been to the games 3 times, and this year on the demo team.
Awesome. So what do you guys think of the demo team so far? So I was on it in 2013 also, and Jen's been on it once before, but what do you guys think so far?
Well, I actually was more assured when I realized that Jen was going to come back and agreed to do demo for a second year. So I thought, okay, it might not be so bad. She probably had a little bit of fun, so I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so far it has been really fun.
Yeah, that's true. It was a lot of fun last year. I mean, it's definitely bittersweet to be here and not be competing, but
Right.
It was fun last year, so we'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I was kind of excited to do it. They look like they have a ton of fun, and there's not as much pressure, but you still get to try the things.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's like the second best way to be at the games.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely not like the best way. You want to be here competing, but if you can't do that, at least you get to try the workouts,
Right.
and you get to do all the behind the scenes stuff. It's pretty cool.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to the people that have done the demo team and then gone back. They say
Mhm.
that it changes their, not approach, but mindset to it,
Yeah.
to have been behind the scenes and then go back and do it again. Like they're not as nervous.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what Austin was saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
Good. We'll take that
All
with
right.
us.
Yeah.
And I like
That's
that
cool.
we can touch the elements that sometimes you won't be able to do for the whole year because it's something really unique, like something that Rogue has invented that maybe they don't even sell. And so
Right.
this is a cool opportunity that we're lucky to have.
That's cool. And also kind of puts you on the spot. Like, all right, here's the workout, do it,
Right.
and it's a low pressure situation, but still gives you some experience doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
You don't have as much time to stress about it. Dave's like, all right, you're doing this. You've got 2 minutes. Okay.
Definitely.
Cool. So obviously it is bittersweet being on the demo team a little bit. So I don't want to bring up too many bad feelings, but I think it's important. I think a lot of people can learn from when you have a setback, or there's obviously a reason, a challenge that you had this season why you're not here. So, or not here competing. So I don't know if anyone wants to open up about that a little bit and just talk about your experience this season and where you're at mentally now going into next season.
Don't everyone talk at once.
Talayna, you can start. You had a different experience.
Yeah, I didn't do the qualifiers, so I knew I wasn't going to make the games. But I had surgery in January, and so this year has been about more of a rebuilding year for me. And I'm excited I got this opportunity still, that I was ready enough to test the workouts. And I don't know, for me, it's nice to still be involved, so it's not out of sight, out of mind. It keeps me motivated, and I still haven't. This whole year's been kind of a relief almost from competition. Like I needed the break. I haven't felt the sting yet of wanting to be there. Maybe I will here, but I don't know.
So do you have plans to compete again, or you're still deciding?
Oh no, yeah,
you do?
I'm gonna go for it, but it's like. It's for the last few months. There were days where I was like, oh, I just don't even know. Like, I was struggling to get over the surgery. It was kind of like, well, I had to give up kind of the control. Like, if I make it back, I do. And if I don't, I don't. But I take it a day at a time.
And you know that now having taken a year off, life still goes on.
Yeah, there's more to it. And life will go on in the next 5 years when I'm not doing it anymore, too. So
awesome. So what was that like? Making the decision to, I don't know if it was much of a decision, but to have the surgery and say, I'm not even going to do the open this year.
There were just so many setbacks. And then I think when I was trying everything I could to get my ankle better, because I kind of figured out maybe that was what was overloading my quad. And I went and got a PRP injection. And when he was going around with his needle in there, he started poking at a bone that was moving, and he's like, I think you have a fragment left in there. And I'm like, okay, I think I think that needs to be solved first. So it was like, okay.
Now you're kind of back to the basics and rebuilding.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, for me, I don't know that there was really one specific event at regionals that held me back. I actually PR'd almost all of my events other than Randy and the Muscle Up Clean event. So for me, there's not too many things that I really regret about regionals, or I'm like, oh, if I could have done this, I would have made it. Like, obviously you think about those things, but I don't really dwell on a lot because I actually PR'd most things and did as well as I could have. I just wasn't fit enough, I guess, which is okay. But yeah, I definitely took about a month to do my own thing, but now I'm like back at training. So yeah, I mean, I was still training, just not being like religious.
Seems like you've been training a lot
from
from watching your posts and everything.
Yeah, but I just haven't been as like anal and religious about what I've been doing. So it's been kind of nice to do classes, and if I don't want to train on a Saturday and have a life, then I don't. So that's been kind of nice. Yeah.
I have to agree. Having a little bit of pressure off to be like, sure, I'll go out with my friends and stay out late because if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, it's not the end of the world, or I'll have a glass of wine with dinner, those kind of things. It is nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a good mental break.
Yeah. I feel like I have a life again for a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely am still feeling the sting of not being able to compete, but I think that it's going to motivate me this year.
Yeah.
The last couple years have been me really wrapping my mind around taking myself seriously as an athlete, because I didn't play college sports and I didn't participate in a sport as a kid or through high school that I took very seriously. I played high school sports, but it was more of just for fun. And so I didn't have these next level aspirations until I got to be 25 years old.
Yeah.
So the last 5 years have been this development of this is how it's like to be an athlete and to train like an athlete. And so this year has been me embracing that more than ever. And so it was a little bittersweet to not have made the games when I've started to embrace it this year. But I think that's part of the development. You have to improve, you have to evolve in order to stay in this sport.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing evolution for me personally from 2009 till now. And so I think this year is going to have a lot of opportunities, and it's going to be a great year to embrace being an athlete.
Yeah.
And I'm inspired by Stacy Tovar, because she did something similar.
Right.
The year that she transitioned from career to CrossFit full time, she ended up not making it at regionals.
Yeah.
And then she has come back stronger than ever. She looks awesome. And I can't wait to see what she does this week. And it's been great following her this year.
Yeah.
So
It's been cool to see a lot of people who missed out maybe last year or the year before and are back this year, like
Absolutely.
Austin and Spencer and Stacy,
Yeah.
Lindy. You know, that is really cool to see. Were you gonna say something?
I kind of did that last year when I took off work
yeah.
before the games, and then I ended up getting hurt anyway. So I still was at the games, but couldn't do that much. And I almost feel like it's better for me to stay involved in my life than to put everything into CrossFit.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
No,
just to
I
still have
agree.
a job, and if I train, I think too much, sometimes I don't recover, and I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's great to hear, because I think finding that balance is important.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be more successful in both aspects if you can find the balance the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the challenge. I think for me, I took the year off in 2013 because school was taking over. And then when I came back the following year, I was 100% CrossFit, and I kind of pushed school off and didn't spend as much time as I would have liked, and realized that I just didn't feel as balanced. And I think, but it was really cool to feel like I was living like an athlete. Like everything I was doing was I was making sure I was sleeping right. I was, doing the right nutrition. I was doing all my recovery things, and I was always prioritizing that. And it was kind of cool to be like, oh, this is the life of a professional athlete, So it was kind of fun. It's hard to find that right balance, because you do have to have something else in your life that's important, that allows you to escape, I guess, from training. But I guess it's different for everyone too. But yeah.
Well, I'll keep you posted as this year
yes.
develops.
Yes.
I also am developing myself as a coach. So I'm a registered nurse, but I've coached in some capacity since 2010 when I got my L1. Just renewed it this June, and so I'm exploring. We'll see.
See where it goes.
Yeah.
Did you just start coaching?
I've been coaching, but it's always part-time.
Okay.
But I've coached at 5 different CrossFit gyms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's
That's
always
cool.
been here and there.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to, just like the athlete has to evolve in CrossFit, the coach has too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're not just counting reps
No.
or cheerleading.
No.
And so to develop yourself that way is important.
Yeah, I agree.
That's cool. That's another thing that could probably keep you balanced from the
Yeah.
training too.
Yeah.
Cool. So going more towards health in general,
Yes.
anything aside from the physical aspects of training or the CrossFit stuff that you're doing, what other things are you guys doing or prioritizing to support your training? Things like sleep or nutrition or anything else like that? Or something that you are going to try this year as something new that you're going to supplement?
Okay, the two biggest things that I have always ignored, always overlooked in my training or my CrossFit development, my husband and I have identified as nutrition and the mental game, or having a mental coach. And so those are two things that I've just been really stubborn about. The nutrition, I eat clean, I eat a lot, I maintain a body composition that I think is healthy for the sport, but I haven't dialed it in. And so those are the things that I'm I'm going to be looking to do this year, and I haven't taken those steps yet. So it's going to be a part of some self-research for the year. And if you guys have any references for people you want to refer me to for either one of those categories, I'm open.
That is interesting. So I'm with you on the nutrition, where I eat clean and I generally am pretty good about nutrition, but I've dabbled with, weighing and measuring, but never taken it really seriously for any period of time. So that was something that I wanted to try this year, and I just it didn't work out. But I think that I've heard so many good things, and you've tried Zone, right, Jen?
I did it for several weeks, and I actually just found that I didn't eat enough. So it was pretty eye-opening to do Zone. But then since then I've gotten paleo power meals, so it's just harder to weigh and measure my food. Not harder. I guess I could do it, take it out of the container and then put it back in.
They don't provide the macros on it?
No.
They should.
Yeah, I think they're working on that.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I found that was that I just wasn't eating enough food, because I ate healthy like all of us probably do, like meat and vegetables and enough fat. But I felt a lot better whenever I found out how much I needed to eat. Yeah.
Interesting.
And what was fascinating to me was you guys talking about doing some food allergy testing and deficiencies, and maybe that's a good place to start rather than just trying to talk about macros and balancing.
Yeah.
Maybe thinking about it on a micronutrient level rather than, because the macros we know we're getting in our protein, fat, and carbs, but what are we missing?
Right. And that's something where if you're eating, like I was eating a lot of eggs and whey protein and things like that, and then I come to find out that actually I'm sensitive to those things. And so probably there's all this inflammation going on, and regardless of whatever else I'm doing with my diet, it's not going to help that aspect. So I think that was really informative too, doing the food sensitivity testing.
Was that a blood test?
Yeah.
A blood test, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I've been doing more macros. Like I get a meal plan, like 8 meals a week, but it has everything broken down in it.
Okay.
And then I just do my own breakfast and snacks, and I've been doing like the MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
Probably for like
that.
a good 6 weeks or something. And I at first I just started with the same macros every day, and then I started kind of trying to alternate on my bigger training days, more carbs, on my lighter training days, more fat. And I've noticed I've definitely leaned down, but I think it's also because my training is going up.
That's true.
But
hard to tell.
I've added in more carbs this year for sure, and that helps. Like even doing like a carb supplement during my workout.
Oh, okay.
So when I get to the end of like a 3-hour session, I'm not shaky anymore. I used to get like the shakes, and I do a recovery shake after that has a 2-to-1 ratio, and that's helped a lot too.
A 2-to-1 of carbs?
Carb to protein, and it's a quick absorbing carb. Like it's a lot of sugar, but you wouldn't want to do that like during the day. But right afterwards, I think it really helps. So I've been playing with that stuff. And then the other thing, I'm just bad at going to bed on time.
Yeah.
I don't get the sleep, even though I notice the difference.
That's probably the main thing for me is like sleep, because getting enough sleep for me is huge. If I don't get at least like 8 to 9 hours, I don't perform well. I don't feel well. But no matter what I eat, I almost always feel the same. Even after I did the food sensitivity test, I know you mentioned you felt better when you cut the eggs out of your diet, but I've not had eggs, avocado, pineapple, chia seeds, all the things I was sensitive to for like 3 months, and I don't really feel a whole lot different now than I did then. But I'm sure that it's a lot healthier for me. So.
And it's one of those things where it's a good place to start, where you take it out and say, okay, do I feel better?
Right.
Maybe it's not really affecting me that much. So, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing. Oh, I was going to say something too about the mental approach.
Oh, yeah.
That was something that I targeted like maybe 2 years ago. I actually worked with a sports psychologist, and for me, that has been really helpful. And I don't know if you do any kind of meditation or anything like that, but he taught me a lot of techniques for meditation and just being able to monitor your self-talk. That is really useful because when you're training or whatever, the self-talk can take over a lot of time. So I thought that was very beneficial.
Yeah.
So whether you work with someone directly or just use an app or do your research on your own, I think there's a lot of benefit.
How often would you see the sports psychologist? Was it like a regular
depends.
thing?
Yeah, I would go maybe like early on. I might see him once every week or 2 weeks, And then this year I probably saw him once every 2 months just to kind of catch up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I've never
But
done
he was
that.
really helpful.
And
Yeah.
how do you go about researching that? Because I maybe I have a problem with trust. So
Yeah,
that's true.
I want somebody who's going to take me in a positive direction and,
Right.
you know, could go very bad. Who
Right.
knows?
Yeah. I actually found him through school. Like I met him. He did one of our lectures because he also counsels like substance abuse. So he talked to us about that in school. And then he mentioned he did sports psychology. So I just emailed him and he's been great.
Yeah.
But I think it is kind of hit or miss. You know, you want to maybe get a recommendation from someone or find someone who works with a local sports team or something like that.
Yeah. I've heard a few different people do that, and it's really beneficial. But I'm like you, I've never
Yeah.
done it
Yeah.
either.
Stubborn.
Yeah. Like, I'm fine.
That's how I feel.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can lift
I
that
can
weight.
do this. It's true. It's true. All right. So last question. 3 things. Everyone has to say 3 things that they do on a regular basis that you think have the biggest overall positive impact on your health. Top 3.
CrossFit.
There we go.
Yeah.
Can you do that for 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
CrossFit,
Yeah.
CrossFit,
Yeah.
CrossFit.
CrossFit. Sleep. And if you want to tie this into sleep, but just knowing when to not do that extra session or
Yeah.
get a massage instead or do a mobility session instead of the training session. Being able to pull it back when you have to.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
That is a skill in itself.
For me, it's probably sleep's definitely the most important. Well, maybe not the most, but it's up there. I've just started stretching a whole lot, and that's helped.
What do you do for stretching? A certain program? or-
Kind of. There's like an online program that I use.
Okay.
That it just gives me guided stretching because, like anything else, if no one tells me to do it, I probably won't.
Right.
So I do that a lot, and then I've just been stretching at my hips
Okay.
mostly, but it's helped a huge amount in my back. And so probably sleep, stretching, and I'm usually pretty good at staying positive. So,
You are very good at staying
Yeah.
positive.
Yes. So probably those 3 things. Yeah.
Cool. Talayna?
This year I've added in corrective exercises. I always did a shoulder routine,
Okay.
but this year I've added in, like, every day I do some lateral hip strengthening, some rotator cuff strengthening, and I try and hit something core.
Okay.
And I've also addressed, like, all my tendonitis issues with eccentric movements, like just little accessory stuff every week I have to hit.
Okay.
And that has helped a lot.
So you hit it once every week, because this is one thing I struggle with. Is I'm like, oh, I should do this and this and
Yeah.
this,
Well-
and then it ends up taking 2 hours,
Yeah.
and I stop doing it.
The eccentric work is just really for my hamstrings. I do that twice a week.
Okay.
And then the my warming up my hips, like lateral movement, a hip abduction, and rotator cuff series. I do that every day,
Okay.
and I try and do like a core thing every other day.
Okay. And how long does your warm up and your cool down usually take? This is a good question for
Yeah, I
everyone.
like it.
Yeah.
I don't really do much of a cool down.
Okay.
Like, not a whole lot. But my warm up is usually about 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And my cool down might be like just stretching,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't do long held stretches before.
Right.
And I've found for me, like, I'm limber. I don't need a ton of stretching. I need to hit the spots where I have trigger points and get them to shut off to get me to move right again.
Okay.
Like, I've found that doing the mobility, and then I'll either do, I'll put lacrosse balls where I know I have problem spots, and then right now every other week I'll get a massage,
Okay.
and then about once a week I'll needle myself.
The advantages of being a physical therapist.
It's pretty cool.
It's helping, but yeah,
Cool.
I'll do that. And then other than that, I mean, I've been doing the nutrition stuff, and I still don't sleep enough, but
Yeah, there's always something to work on. Very cool. What about you guys? Long warm ups or no?
I'm not the one to ask. I'm so bad with warming up.
always after a rest day, my warm-up ends up being longer.
Okay.
And the first session of the day, the warm-up's longer. So
Yeah.
I would say 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Which I was getting made fun of a little bit at my gym.
Really? I would sometimes take an hour to warm up.
You're really slow. Julie's
That's one of those things when you have the time
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm living like an athlete. I'm going to take an hour to warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
When I don't do it, it catches up.
Right. That's how I feel.
If I do 10-minute warm-ups like for a few days because I'm out training with a group or something,
Yeah.
I'll feel it.
You start to notice.
Yeah.
That's actually
definitely.
what I've had to stretch more, is because I think I've neglected those things. So not that not warming up is good. I'm definitely going to start doing that more with stretching. So
Cool.
I'll go somewhere in the middle of
Well, yeah.
me and you.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys for sitting down and chatting. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more fun for the rest of the week. Well, you guys will. I'll be watching. But yeah, thank you. And thank you for sharing about your experience this year. And I think you're all going to come back stronger next year. So can't wait to watch
Julie.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. I'd love to hear your feedback, so please leave comments under this post on my website, juliefouché.com. Also, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and give us a rating. And share your thoughts on social media. You can use the hashtag JFHealth with any feedback or questions or ideas for future episodes. So thanks again for listening, and we will catch you next time on Pursuing Health.